We're back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We are so back. Cole Palmer is back. World, watch out because Cole Palmer's back. Chelsea are back. 3-2 against Fulham. Welcome to the Always Bayern Chelsea show. Today, August 24th, reacting right after the match because that one was special. And it was a mixed bag, but overall, I couldn't be happier in the start of the XABI Alonso era at Chelsea Football Club. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting. I want to hear your comments. I want to know your thoughts on how Chelsea did in this first match under XABI Alonso. It's match day one, the end of match day one here Monday. A great weekend in the English Premier League. What a thrilling match to end off this first week in the Prem. But if you want to hear more thoughts from me, from Danny, why don't you become a member? Hit that membership. I'm sure it's like right down here below while you're watching this video. Tier 1, Tier 2. Join the ABC family. Join the group chat that you can be in with those Tier 2 members. We have a great time. We were chatting throughout this Chelsea Fulham match. It's a lot of fun. Would highly recommend. I appreciate the support, whether or not you become a member. But I got to say, it's awesome. And who knows? Maybe I'll post my speech as a best man for Danny's wedding. Not going to post it for everybody, but for the members, I'd consider doing that. But nobody wants to hear about that. Let's talk about this Chelsea Fulham match because, man, it was a thriller. You know, it was very, very exciting on all levels. I think there's a lot of good to talk about for Chelsea, maybe some bad defensively with some classic Chelsea mistakes. But overall, I'm pleased. I think XABI Alonso will be pleased. Fulham, maybe not so much with their new manager, but let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Up and down, as I said, 3-2. Ends up with a Pedro goal, a Rodgers goal, and a Palmer goal. The elite front three for Chelsea that we've talked about really throughout this offseason after they signed Morgan Rodgers to the English record-breaking transfer, I believe. Couldn't be a better start. The ice-cold guys are back. João Pedro with whatever he does, looking prime. As we know, he was looking amazing. Just good to get a win. Good to get a win. And let's go through the lineup because there were some surprises. Let's be honest. There were some surprises. Caicedo did not make this team. He just wasn't fit, apparently, as well as Marco Palestra. So those were two major, major surprises. Looks like I got to view some ads to actually see this crap. SofaScore really, really making things painful for me. But here's the lineup for the Blues today. XABI Alonso side. You had Sanchez between the sticks, who had a brutal day. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. I'll talk more in detail about what he did, but Sanchez just not looking good. You hate to see that. Thought after last year, maybe he'd be better. Then again, I picked him as my bust for the year, so maybe I was right about him all along. You did have a back three of Colwill, Lacroix, and Josh Achimpong, who I thought was brilliant, coming in for West Fofana, who was suspended due to a red card in the last match of last year. Then you had Hato, left wing back. You had Gusto, right wing back. Lavia and Reece. Reece James, of course, the captain for Chelsea in the midfield today. No Enzo Fernandez, which I think was the right move to not start him. He did come on later, but a guy that's in heavy talks with Manchester City, potentially looking to go there and link up with Enzo Maresca. I just don't think you can start a guy like that when he's going through all these rumors. Lavia and James, I thought were fine at times, not so fine at others in the midfield, but Caicedo apparently hurt, was not ready to go. Caicedo, of course, arguably the most important player at Chelsea Football Club. So this was always going to be tough. But fortunately, Chelsea did manage to get through this one without him. And again, like I said, Palestra was also out for Chelsea in this one. Would he have played right wing back, left wing back? I'm not exactly sure. Either way, interesting to see Gusto get the start, Hato get the start. I thought Hato actually had a pretty good day overall. Gusto hit or miss, makes some good runs, but is he the greatest defender? I don't really think he is. And then, of course, I talked about this front three. Is this the best front three in the English Premier League? Is it top 5 in the world? Does it have the potential to be the best front three In the world, potentially so. I don't think you can get better than Elise Diaz and Kane, of course. PSG as well with their front. You're probably not going to beat that. Madrid, you could probably make an argument for them. But if this Chelsea front three of Pedro, Rogers, and Palmer look like this consistently for months on end, we will be talking about them as a front three that's top three, I think, behind PSG and Bayern, probably in the entire world. I think it's absolutely incredible that we're at that point, but I think we are. Um, and they started with a bang. 32 seconds in, Lacroix, a giant header. Palmer's able to get it, slots it right into Pedro, who fires. I shouldn't say fires. He chips the keeper. I mean, you talk about a dream start in the Xabi Alonso era. A dream start. I mean, Pedro is a man on fire. We saw how he ended the year for Chelsea. We saw what he's been doing in preseason. I think he scored 8 goals in the preseason. Just so impressive, incredible stuff for them to start out with a goal like this in that first minute. So shout out to Chelsea for that. Unfortunately, things did not remain that easy for Chelsea. I thought they showed a ton of flashes early on with some good press, some good attacking moments. They could have potentially added on, with second goal, but what's kind of hurt Chelsea the last few years has been boneheaded plays, stupid mistakes, not being disciplined, defensive errors. We saw it multiple times in this match. Levi Colwill, poor touch, late challenge, yellow card. In the 5th minute, you just can't be doing that as a center back, one of the guys that's supposed to be a leader on this team. Xabi thinks he can be one of the best center backs in the world, and I agree, but what he showed me in this match is that he's still not mature enough to take that next step. Lavia then early on gets a yellow, does get some ball, maybe harsh to have a yellow. This ref was giving out way more yellows to Chelsea until way later when he finally gave one for simulation for Fulham. But you just cannot be picking up these stupid yellow cards early in the match when you have to play still like 80, 70 minutes left in this match. And, eventually Fulham did really start stepping it up a little bit. Their press looked pretty solid. They did have more possession throughout this match, especially in the first half. Josh King looked super threatening for Fulham. Controversial young talent, that had that dust up with Chelsea last year when he scores, gets overturned, Chalobah getting fouled. But he fires one in, and Sanchez can't save it. Near post, right at him, get down and block it, and he can't. Was it a good strike? Yes. The stat said 96% of keepers make that save. You just have to be better, Rob. You just have to be better. That was very disappointing to see. Again, Sanchez, because of how impressive he was last year in my eyes, which I think was a shock. I called him having a better year last year because he was going to be most improved starting at the bottom of how you could be as a keeper. And now I called him being a bust. What a terrible start for Rob Sanchez. I'm looking good with that prediction, but I don't want him to actually perform poorly. So that was very disappointing to see Sanchez. Really not great on the Fulham second goal either. Saves the first, but lets it get too far away from it. And Gonzalo Garcia knocks it in. That was disappointing, especially after Chelsea were up 3-1, and then this happens 5 minutes after. And I'll talk about the other Chelsea goals, but just overall defensively, I didn't love what I saw at times from Chelsea. They still look nervy. I thought Lacroix in the center of that back three was outstanding. I think he was quite impressive. Again, Levi, not good enough. Josh, I thought, was terrific. But when you have Sanchez and Colwill playing so poorly, it's really not going to reflect well on the rest of your defense. I think Alonso is going to have to figure that out. Is this something that he can help the guys fix? Is this just individual player mistakes? Either way, the discipline thing needs to be figured out. The hard-headedness, stubbornness of making these dumb mistakes definitely needs to get the hell out of this team. But let's talk about Again, this Chelsea front three. Pedro gets that first goal. Rodgers gets the second goal. And, this was created by Palmer at the end of the day. He's driving up the pitch. Lacroix, out of all guys, ends up overlapping. Palmer finds him. He does this little inside out move where he gets the ball back on his right, cuts it back across, and Rodgers buries it. Rodgers, I noticed he put himself in really good positions a lot of the time. He has a nose and a knack for finding the ball. I think this is one of those times. Again, amazing play by Palmer, who just looks dirty at times. I'll talk about it in a second, but Lacroix, my seltzer water king, with this little move, looking like Chelsea's best right winger. I mean, it was just hilarious, but it's outstanding for this team to be able to build goals like this. I think Alonso already showing what he can do from the attack perspective and unlocking the guys in this Chelsea front. Palmer, the way he was dancing, changing directions, speeding down that right-handed side, spraying the ball all over. The run he had in the second half where he takes on Anthony Robinson and whoever was playing left wing for Fulham, gets through him, gets all the way to goal, almost scores. He was doing that all day. For this Lacroix one, he's got a little dummy turn, and then he fires it to Lacroix. I mean, he did this probably 4 or 5 times where he's dribbling past guys. He's making guys spin. He's making guys dance. He's making these defenders on Fulham look like fools, to be completely honest. Rightfully so, deserving of man of the match from Peacock, from the Premier League. I could not be happier with Cole Palmer's performance. I could not be happier with Rodgers, with João Pedro. I thought Pedro maybe should have scored a second, whether it was kind of the half volley off of a terrific right-footed cross from Palmer. And then Pedro actually scores one late, called for offside on Kenda. But, man, Palmer is so back. It's so good for this Chelsea team, and I can't wait to see what else he does. And he scored early in the second half. Some amazing play. I think it was flicked on from Rodgers over to Pedro. Palmer knows exactly where to make the run around the left-hand side of João Pedro, who slots it into him. And Palmer says, you know what? Nobody's there for the cross. I'll go through the keeper's legs. Are you kidding me right now? Cole Palmer. He just knows how to play the game. He's cheeky. He's technically sound. He can strike the ball well. It's just so impressive to watch this guy play. Again, Cole Palmer, when he's clicking, clearly he was being held back by injuries. When he is in form, he's one of the best players in the world. I will say it. We've always been saying it the last few years. If he can just get back to the form he had under Pochettino for Xabi Alonso, it's going to unlock so much. It's going to be special to see these three. As I said, they did allow that next goal then. I thought it was going to be cruising from there. 3-1. They were looking so good. They allow it to be 3-2. And it was kind of shaky from there. The last 40 minutes. I was kind of expecting Fulham to score an equalizer, to be completely honest. So credit to Alonso and the boys for sticking strong, being able to muster out the 3 points. I thought Reece James did enough in midfield. I think Lavia was fine when he was in there. I don't think Lavia was terrific, but I thought he was fine enough when he was in there. They did make some subs. Pep Chavaria made me feel safe when he came in. Didn't do anything special, but controls the ball, energy, good defender. I actually thought Enzo Fernandez was very, very good and really put it in an effortless 25 minutes, 30 minutes for Chelsea here, replacing Romeo Lavia. Neto, I think, was pretty solid as a right wing back. I think we saw that in the preseason. Was that against Milan or Sociedad? I forget. But Neto looks like he can be a good right wing back, I should say. We'll see if he stays. Gusto, fine. But I think Neto, when he came on, was pretty solid. Gio Kenda, not really much minutes. Stevao came on. They came on for Rodgers and Palmer, who fairly got the recognition that they deserve from the fans. But just a good job from the Chelsea team in the last 40 minutes to kind of make sure things did get seen out. Josh King probably should have scored an equalizer. Had a nice turn to inside out Lacroix and then just wide left. I thought he should have done better, should have gotten that on target. And who knows what would happen with Sanchez trying to save it. But overall, I would say I was pleased with the Chelsea performance after Fulham do make it 3-2. Interesting to see Fulham had so much possession. I think Chelsea are still figuring out the system, how best to play. I don't think it mattered because they did so much with less possession. 4 big chances, 18 total shots, higher XG than Fulham. Again, I just think the front three is so good. So good. Pedro, Palmer, Rodgers. And the bench, you still got Stevo, Kenda, Neto. Caicedo didn't even play. Palestra, I think, is going to be a huge threat going forward. Welbeck off the bench. The bench is so much deeper than it was last year. The opportunities that we're going to get to see in this Chelsea team, I think, are second to none, and they truly can be one of the best attacks in the world. And now as we go over to the standings after this huge 3 points, it is Chelsea in 6th. Of course, a lot of teams tied in the standings right now. Brighton leading the way, who Chelsea's next Premier League match will be against. Little preview now, if I can think of one. If I don't have any preview after the Luton Town, maybe I will post a little preview with my Luton. But Brighton looked terrific in their match against Aston Villa, destroyed them 4-0. Thinking about this Luton Town match, actually, I'm going to do some match awards real quick. Palmer, man of the match. Pedro, for me, is the Robin to Palmer's Batman. Rodgers, great too. And I just love Pedro. Scoring that soon in the match, I think, was so key. My defender of the match is going to be Lacroix, but shout out to Josh Hatchimpong. Bad day at the office. We know it's Rob Sanchez. The guy needs to get his head out of his ass. Shout out overall to Xabi Alonso for getting his first win in his first match as Chelsea manager. Now, over to Luton Town. Thursday, we're going to have a match in the EFL Cup, second round. Interesting to see what Xabi will do here with his squad, how much he will rotate. Don't want to see Caicedo or Palestra play unless it's a little bit right at the end. I'd rather have them fully rested for Brighton. If they are able to make that one against Brighton, I'm not sure how serious those injuries are. Don't really need to see Palmer play or Pedro. You might as well play a Welbeck or somebody else up in the attack. Maybe a Nico. Nico's going to get sold. He's not going to play. I wish we'd keep Nico. Sounds like we're keeping Omega over him, but Omega is hurt, so we'll see what happens there. If Welbeck does get the full 90, I'm not sure if he can do full 90. I don't know. I just want to see rotation. I'd like to see Pep Chavaria get some more minutes. Maybe Neto gets more minutes if he's not going to be sold. Is Enzo going to start? Who else is in this midfield? Sounds like Asugo is going to be sent out on loan to Hull City. So really, who is going to get most of the minutes in this one? I think it'll be really interesting to see. Kenda, Stevel, they'll probably start. That would be my guess. But who else is in this midfield? Henderson's hurt. Me kind of realizing now that we don't have a lot of depth in midfield. So I think that'll be interesting. Maybe do you bring up a Watson or NMJ, MNJ? I don't know. I think it'll be very interesting to see what Xabi Alonso does do in that one. But I'll probably have some reaction after the fact in that one. Maybe post a short right before the match just to see what happens for that one. But, man, what a first win for Chelsea. What a match. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, please comment. Please comment because I want to know your thoughts as well. Up the Chelsea. Mia San Mia. Thank you so much.